New CSIS data suggests that the Russian military has performed poorly over the last year and a half of war with Ukraine. Seth, what were the biggest takeaways from the data?
Well, there are a lot of questions about how the Russians are doing on the battlefield. And we looked at a number of indicators, and they were shocking in many ways. First is that the Russians are moving glacially forward, despite the fact that they've had the initiative for about 17 months. On average, they have moved in some places about 50 meters per day, which is slower than the British-French offensive in the Somme. Second, they have captured a tiny amount of territory, less than 1% of Ukraine over the last year and a half, despite all their efforts. And then third is they are suffering enormous casualties, which include both dead and wounded, and then overall fatalities. They will hit the 1 million mark of casualties likely in the next couple of weeks, and they've suffered roughly 250,000 fatalities, which is 5 times more than all Russian and Soviet deaths between World War II and February of 2022. So bottom line, they are not doing well.
Do you expect Russia to continue with this trajectory? And if so, how can Ukraine capitalize on it?
I think this trajectory is likely to continue for now. This is the Russian way of warfare. They use dismounted infantry, some vehicles, drones, but they move very slowly against well-defended Ukrainian territory. Ukrainians are using mines, dug-in trenches, lots of drones, artillery to strike those Russian infantry. The big variable moving forward is whether the U.S. will continue to provide aid to Ukraine or not. If the U.S. doesn't, that's going to make it a lot more difficult for the Ukrainians to play defense.